Egypt because it is as if we are going to our family. We come with our families, we leave them in a sort of furnished apartments in Jamiat al-Dawla al-Arabiya Street, and we make pleasure with business. This is something different which you can find it only in a country like Egypt. So I'm not worried about Arab investors. They are making their decisions. They are there. Just we should do our homework in order to make everything in place. I'm talking about the investment law. I'm talking about how the mass media is not yet trying to be friendly with investment in general, and the investment coming from the Arab world and from the international dimension.
Excellency, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, head of the Arab Investors Union, thank you very much for talking to us. Back to you, Mrs. Fahmy, and you were talking about measures that should be undertaken by the Central Bank of Egypt.
Yes, we need to protect our reserves.
Yeah.
Because a type of war like this one, war on terrorism, might take some time.
Yeah.
And our resources foreign currency are limited. We all know that. And that's why we have seen that the central bank took some steps to increase the price of the dollar, to unify one price on the market, which is a good sign. But on the other side, we need to increase a little bit, to increase our level of reserves. And when the central bank can take some steps, we all know that. We all know that we could limit a little bit the type of import from outside, put some lists for a period. The banks are doing this all the time, and they feel that the reserves without even being declared. You could stop financing LCs from the banking industry if it is for commerce only. So there are some steps we can take to protect our level of reserves. See, the unification of the price is a very good step, although I don't like personally the way it was done, but the target is the same, is to have one rate in the market. So we can take some steps. We can also take some steps on the level of the Ministry of Supply. They could import directly without having in the middle some agents, so that to cut the price, they can distribute the necessary products for the modest classes and the middle class. We have to protect the poor, the modest class, and the middle class, because this stability is extremely important. Most of the people who are dying now everywhere in the army or the police come from that level of beautiful Egyptians.
Right.
So we need to protect them and support them. So some steps can be taken. We have to as well decrease a little bit the spending on the government level, perhaps the number of ministers. I mean, we need to cut a little bit the deficit. Mr. President has spoken very well when he was on the last conference, when he mentioned in Davos, when he spoke about how he looks at the budget restructuring, the monetary policy, the fiscal policy. He was very clear about giving messages to the world that we know the road. So we know where are we going, we're working on it. It could take some time, but we know the road. And when you have a conference in March, it doesn't mean that the second day investment will start. But at least they know we're going on the right road. And it could start between 6 months and 12 months. You see what I mean? Big projects do not start immediately. They have some process to go through. But inshallah, we as well should be ready for many things. Again, if I may talk about the banking industry, we need to be careful that in the globalized world, there are some rules and regulations which we need to comply to, like, for instance, the governance, like the disclosure, like the regulations Basel I, Basel II, Basel III. There are many things. The world should look the same. If you wish to attract investors, you should look at some issues applicable everywhere. So when you invite major multinationals and very big multinationals to come to Egypt, they have to see almost the same picture applicable else. You see? And
how is the world eyeing Egypt on the economic map today?
They see what I'm saying. For instance, when we talk about the banking industry, they know very well we couldn't up till now comply perfectly to 1 and 2 and 3 in Basel. We're still on the government level, governance. We need to apply governance as well to the stock market. Some rules on the stock market so that they look like international. The globalization is an issue where you move around, you see the same systems or almost the same systems. So that when you want to repatriate your profit or you want to go out of the place, you have to feel it is easy entry, easy exit. You need to see that there is no corruption around, so you have to have governance, you have to have transparency. There are many things, we're working on them.
What sort of measures are we putting in place in order to attract foreign direct investment?
Let me tell you something. For instance, the investment law, if I may say, up till now, it is not finalized. Yes, they got a new form, but many comments came on it. So you still have to know how to address the investors. As Ambassador Bayoumi has mentioned, most of the Arab world would love to invest in Egypt, especially the Arab investors.
Yeah.
But they are investors at the end of the day. They need to rules, regulations, compliance, law for investment. As we call in the banking business or investment business, you need to have a good climate. Exactly. Yeah.
How to have a good climate? There are certain procedures that we should undergo, bearing in mind also that this needs funding too.
No, climate, in my personal opinion, does not really need funding. It means you have to have the will and you have to understand it. Funding will be needed if the people around are not well trained, so that they have to be trained so that they can do it. But I assume always, or I think and I see that Egypt has, of course we have a lot of experts around. So creating the climate is important. And unfortunately we are moving towards the right direction, but
what are the criteria according to which we create the sense of climate that we're talking about?
First of all, being a member all my life, you need to have security. On the borders, in the streets, and one very important measure of security, social security, social stability.
Right.
Unfortunately, up till now on the social level, because there's a problem which exists for 60 years, so we cannot claim that we can do it overnight. But at least we have to work towards it. If you don't have social stability and you don't have security in the streets and on the borders, it will become very difficult. Then we move on, or on parallel, to the laws that this is the easy part. You can implement, and then you have the bureaucracy. And you have as well a very high level of, how do I say, they don't always use the heavy word.
Lack of awareness.
Lack of awareness and incompetence. But we see the road. What is very important now during this period, that we defined the problems. Once you define the problem, you can put the solution. So all of us, we know all of us the problems. So putting the solutions will take some time, but it is doable.
Yeah. In what way are we moving before the economic conference is being held?
Big activities are going on. As you see, the president is not stopping from moving around. If I may say that on the government level, in my personal opinion, especially the economic group, are not really performing at the same tone or the same wave of the president. We need to go faster than this. We need to be clearer than this. We have to give different messages to for instance, when you get out the law for investment, and then it gets tens of comments again, that's a bad image. We should have done this before declaring it to everybody. You see what I mean? Before saying everybody come and look, we do our homework. I mean, things are known. What is attractive, what is not attractive, what is correct, what is not correct. So if you work on a law and
what have been included in your vision?
No, it's a long list of discussions.
Long story.
It's a long story.
Well, the AU summit, the president was attending the AU summit, cut short his visit to return back to the country because of the incidents. The AU summit tackled this issue as means of combating terrorism. There is concerted efforts on the African level in that regard. Our economic cooperation with Africa and the sense of utilizing this good climate at the AU.
This is extreme. Africa is extremely important. Africa and the Middle East became now the attractive part for the whole world to do investments.
Yes.
Egypt has been always on the entry level to the Africa. You enter Africa through Egypt, so you cannot ignore Egypt, no matter what you say. And what I say always is that if you wish really to invest in Africa, you have to have, again, an attractive climate in the African continent, not only in Egypt. Terrorism became an international problem, an international catastrophe, not problem. And that's why I am waiting for the conference which will be organized in the United States on the 25th of February, I think. It will be an international conference to put measures and policies how the whole world will combat terrorism. And I still believe that we need to wait until the result of that conference, because it might take some steps which could delay a little bit some plans. We don't know what the whole world will come up and decide upon. But perhaps they will go into physical presence with military groups. This does not encourage really investment. You see, we cannot really go into investment while battles are left and right. So I do believe that we need to wait a little bit, and we need to see within our part, which is the Middle East, how are we going to handle this? Because like what happened yesterday and what happened this morning and what happened the day before, it is escalating, and they are attacking not only the army and the police, but on the economic side. So I think this is a main problem, which is the terrorism problem. It's a big war. That's why I started by saying we are in a state of war. So maybe not only us.
Definitely up to it.
Definitely, the whole world. That's why I say we cannot beat a country, especially when we are groups. So when I say we are in a state of war, yes, we are in a state of war towards
the police, the army, and the Egyptians.
The
Egyptians are there to fight for their nation.
Definitely.
Mrs. Basanta Fahmy, a renowned economic expert, thank you so much for
Thank you very much. God bless Egypt.
God bless Egypt. God bless the Egyptians. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been following up the situation on solid grounds and events as they unfold. Panorama News with my Nancy Sarah.